Clavicular had a good run, but it might all be over because he has been hit with a series of devastating lawsuits, criminal charges, and allegations that might just end the Lux Max's career for good, all right? He's going to be career minning. Not looks maxing, not career max. I don't know if that even makes sense, but I'm going to break it all down to you in this video, the series of unfortunate events that might just end Clavicular. Now, firstly, you got this little incident, okay? This is him actually being charged in that incident where he live streamed himself shooting a dead alligator in the Everglades. Now, originally when this clip came out, people were saying, oh my God, he killed an alligator, he's going to be in trouble. And then other people said, no, the alligator was already dead, so it's fine. Well, apparently you can't just let off shots at dead alligators in the Everglades willy-nilly. So he is in trouble. He has been charged with 2 other men for the shooting, and this is a problem.
Now at 6 tonight, social media influencer Braden Clavicular Peters is in trouble with the law again. The Miami-Dade State Attorney is pressing charges against Peters and another social media influencer for a video they posted showing them shoot at an alligator. CBS News Miami's Nakaya Carrero is your reporter in Miami from the Miami-Dade courthouse with the details about this new charge.
Both Peters and another social media influencer known as the Cuban Tarzan are being charged with unlawfully discharging a firearm in a public place. The alleged crime was recorded and posted to their social media accounts. A viral video has led 3 men to be charged by the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office with a gun-related misdemeanor. 2 of those men are social media influencers Braden Peters, who goes by Clavicular, and Andrew Morales, who goes by the Cuban Tarzan, who you see in the video. In arrest documents, the state attorney says this took place on March 26 at Francis Taylor Everglades Management Area. This new charge comes just 1 week after Peters' latest run-in with the law. An 18-year-old content creator filed a lawsuit against the look-maxing influencer, accusing him of battery, fraud, and sexual misconduct, alleging he injected her with an unapproved substance.
So look, he's facing these alligator shooting charges, and he's also got this big case. I'm going to break that down into more detail in a minute, but let's just finish this news clip.
During a live stream without her consent and exploited her image for profit. He was also arrested in Fort Lauderdale back in March for a misdemeanor battery warrant out of Osceola County. Deputies said he instigated and recorded a physical altercation between 2 women at a rental property and posted it online. Peters' attorney sent us a statement regarding today's gun charge. It said, our client has been summoned to appear for a misdemeanor charge that stems from following the instructions of a licensed airboat guide. He relied on that guidance. No animals or people were harmed. We are confident that once the full picture is understood, people will see this for what it is. We reached out to the other 2 men charged in this case, but have yet to hear back. In Miami,
I'm not going to lie, it sounds like he's snitching. He said, oh, he followed the instructions of a licensed airboat guide. The other guy started shooting first, the Tarzan dude. And he's saying he relied on that guidance. He telling, clavicular snitching. What the hell? Anyway, while at the Everglades, okay, Clav was also seen just shooting randomly into the distance. You know, basically just shooting randomly into the Everglades, and audible screams were heard in the background. And unfortunately, this might kind of overcomplicate things. It might not be as simple as just popping shots at a dead alligator. If you look at this part of the stream that's not been included.
Tripping here. It just hurt. Am I tripping here? It just hurt somebody out there.
But yeah, what? Who's screaming?
They're saying you might hurt somebody out there. You shouldn't be doing this.
Yo, hold on. There's people screaming.
Oh, you shot somebody? Wait.
Yo, stop. There's actually people there. What the fuck? Go, shoot again.
No, bro, you could have hit.
Shoot again. There's people there. Don't. That might save him, to be honest with you. And maybe it's not snitching because we got that on camera. He's talking about shoot again. He getting told to shoot, just following orders.
Oh!
Bro, you guys hurt people too.
Could someone have got shot?
Shooting from the hip.
Quick draw.
I should got stuck in there.
Arthur Morgan.
Look at those legs.
Now, I want to just make it clear, I don't condone this behavior. I don't support it. This is irresponsible use of a firearm, and we're just documenting this crime that this man has been charged with for documentary and journalistic purposes. It's just very important to say that we don't condone Clavicular's actions. This is a very irresponsible way to behave with a firearm, and it should not be replicated, and he should be charged. He should be charged. This is dangerous as hell. So people would report on the news. This would circulate. Obviously, we already saw the news report, but just so you fully understand, he's been charged with a misdemeanor after firing that gun. Now, what's interesting is I don't think it's clear if it is just the random firing shots into the distance or the shooting of the alligator that is actually causing the problems. It does say he did unlawfully and knowingly discharge a firearm at the wildlife management area in the Everglades in Florida. They said it violates the Florida statute. They didn't say this is for the alligator shooting. That last shooting that I just showed you arguably is much worse, and they knew people were screaming and they continued. If somebody was actually the victim of that shooting, they could be facing attempted murder charges. You recklessly shot your gun into, not even into the sky. All right. So I think he's in big trouble, and rightfully so. Now, in addition to this, okay, this is the influencer, Alora, that filed a lawsuit against Clavicular alleging non-consensual hookups, but claiming that she was intoxicated at his parents' house in May 2025, and that basically that he's got something to answer for. So there's a full criminal complaint here, and this is pretty serious, to be honest with you guys. Okay, so this basically makes an allegation. It's asking for damages of $50,000 as well as attorney fees. The plaintiff is a Vasil Evna Mendoza, who is over 18 years old, but was underage and a minor when these things happened, obviously. Braden Peters, aka Clavicular, and it basically breaks down. He had over 1 million followers over his promotion of looks maxing. He allows people to ascend. He's bragged about slay maxing, which means having relations with women he meets through his fame. He bragged online about using illegal substances like meth and ketamine, as well as other injectable medications only available online. He admits he created content so that he can pursue one-night stands, and when he goes to parties, he slays, which means he has sex. He refers to his one-night stands as a pump and dump, which is hilarious. But this is the background of both of them. At times of this complaint, the victim was a minor. At the time of the incident, they were a minor. At the time of the complaint, they are 18 years old. They're saying the plaintiff, Mendoza, comes from a troubled background. Beginning at 16, she tried to gain social media presence to get sponsorships. She became known as Alora or Alora Ziva. When she was 16, she was paid $1,000 by Clavicular to film videos. He told her he wanted her to be the female face of looks maxing, and he helped her make videos and scripts. After posting 4 looks maxing videos for Clav, they were texting while Clav was in Cape Cod and she was in Massachusetts. He offered to pay for an Uber to bring her to Cape Cod. She accepted the offer even though she had never met him, and she thought meeting him would help her career. The Uber took her to Clav's parents' home. The mother and grandmother were in the house, and with his mother's full knowledge, excessive amounts of alcohol were served to both of them under age of 21. Clav took her to the bedroom where a computer was set up for live streaming, and inside there he served her multiple servings of vodka, and she became invisibly intoxicated. Clav then had relations with her while she was knowingly intoxicated to the point where she was unable to give consent, and that morning while she was asleep, she woke up with Peters in her and doing it again without her consent. At this point, she didn't know that Clav was did not know about Clav bragging about slaying and having one-night stands and calling it a pump and dump. After the relations, Clav sent her off in an Uber, and she didn't see him again for 6 months. The live stream crime committed on the plaintiff. In November of 2025, she went out with a group of friends in Miami for a networking event. She and her friends ran into Clav in the Brickell area. Clav commented on how her physical appearance had improved through looks maxing. Clav then invited her and her friends back to his place for a stream, telling her she was ascending and could blow up online. She agreed since she was with her friends and thought they were going nearby. Once in Clav's car, a Cybertruck, she was shocked to find out they were driving to Delray Beach over an hour away, and they stopped at a charging station where Clav snorted white powder, and they offered it to the girl who refused. They arrived. Clav attempted to kiss and seduce her, but she rejected him. Clav continued to tell her that he could help her with her online presence and took her into a bedroom where he began live streaming on Click. On the desk was a vial of a medication called Aquilix. along with syringes. Clav told her he wanted to inject her with the product to melt fat on her cheeks as part of his promise to help her looks max. Clav implied that he was acting with medical authority, referring to himself as a doctor or otherwise holding himself out as qualified to perform the injection. But these are not FDA approved. He was not a doctor. He's not licensed, not authorized to inject anyone, didn't notify her that he wasn't licensed, didn't provide valid consent from her parents. She was a minor. Nevertheless, Clav injected the plaintiff on camera during the live stream. Snitched on yourself once again. Okay. Injected in both cheeks with what he represented to be Aquilix. He didn't explain that Aquilix was not approved by the FDA. She was a minor. This is just repeating stuff. Peters knew she was a minor as he commented online, "She's a minor, I'm 19, you bitch." The entire thing was live streamed and remains replayable on Kick. Neither Clav nor Kick received her permission to stream this. The video shows that Clav had problems injecting her. In fact, her right cheek has perforated. During the video, Clav suggested that meth had been added to the injection mixture. After the first injection, plaintiff appeared drugged on camera, and she believes she might have been injected with meth or another undisclosed substance. During the session, Clav, through Kick, was receiving financial benefits from viewer engagements, including subscriptions, donos, tips, and platform currency. After the session, both of them saw each other a handful of times, including incidences where Clav paid bouncers to let the underage Mendoza into bars and purchased alcoholic drinks for her. Throughout these encounters, she continued to believe that Clav was assisting her with her online presence. Some of these encounters were streamed on Kick. In early 26, Mendoza signed a contract paying her $15,000 a month as a social media promoter for an online trading platform, and she continued to be under incorrect assumption that Clav was helping her career. Around this time, Clav started a campaign to discredit her, and she lost her sponsorships. Upon information belief, Clav's campaign to discredit her was taken in anticipation of the victim asserting claims arising from the injection and other misconduct. So they want to charge him with battery, injecting her with a unproven drug, which is that is a battery essentially. And she suffered physical, emotional damages. She's requesting judgment against Clav, compensation, costs, legal costs, all of that stuff. Okay, so she's asserting she's had emotional distress. She was injected with something untested. Clav's conduct was outrageous, atrocious, and intolerable in a civilized society. He should have known that the conduct would have caused severe emotional distress, and as a direct result, she suffered severe distress, trauma, humiliation, nightmares, fear, panic, and mental anguish. Okay, she wants compensation. She wants to be set right. She's reasserting he was not a licensed healthcare provider, didn't notify her, didn't let her know what was going on. She needs cost, right? So these are all different counts, unauthorized use of her name and likeness, whole bunch of things. He is in big trouble. He is in very, very big trouble. And a lot of these clips have been going around the internet. Now, I'm going to be careful, but I think I can show you this. This is the moment it happened.
Okay. It's like needles all fucked up.
Jeff Epstein just tipped $4. Yo, my nigga, I hear you got the plug for those fresh Stacy's. Hit me up, nigga. I'm chilling here in Tel Aviv if you ever want party.
Dude, I can already see a clip. Clav injects meth on a... Okay, they're all crazy.
Chat, we're looks maxing here. It's all good.
Honestly, I feel for her because I actually feel it would be really distressing to be injected with something you don't know what it is by an unlicensed person, and then some goon next to them says, "Oh yeah, meth maxing in her face." You would be very distressed if that happened to me. If someone gave me a little cig to smoke, and next thing you know they're talking about, "Hey, PCP, we're PCP maxing," I would be very distressed and upset, and I might be suing for damages too. So people just saying this generation is cooked. All right, what the actual F is this? It looks to me like someone performing a medical procedure without a license. I'm assuming she can sue him for this since she's a minor. This is 6 months ago. She might have read that. This comment came from the future. Sue, sue, sue. All right. Where are the girl's parents? What parents? All right. 17 face filler. I'm gobsmacked. All right. Crazy. So he is in big trouble. Right. Here's a doctor explaining why this is dangerous and something you should never do.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. I mean, Clavicular has done a lot of questionable things, but I think this is up there as one of the most concerning. He's essentially injecting what looks like maybe some filler into this girl's cheeks, and I don't think that he's doing it very cleanly. I mean, first of all, he's not wearing any gloves. I highly doubt that he disinfected her face prior to these injections, and who knows what he's even injecting here. Where did he get these supplies? What are his landmarks here? Does he know where the main blood vessels are that he could potentially hit and cause different problems for her, like necrosis of the skin, different types of other problems like infection and nodule formation, and
oopsie.
Ivanka. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Her, like necrosis of the skin, proposal. Regardless, he is not licensed to do these types of injections, and doing them on a live stream or however he's doing them here should be considered, highly illegal and something that I think should not be condoned. I've spoken out in the past against the DIY community when it comes to filler and even Botox and other things like threads and whatever else people are doing to themselves, but this is something that is highly dangerous if done incorrectly and really probably should not even be on the internet.
Yeah, that's crazy, okay? It's actually messed up because Clavicular is leading a lot of young men astray. And I really liked how Andrew Callahan actually did him in the interview where he basically said to him, "Oh, are you really happy with what you see in the mirror?" And he was like, "Yeah, pretty much." Like, I think life's all about learning to love yourself. It's not about looks maxing. I know looks maxing can get you far in life, but it can get you far off track too. As somebody, look, I don't know, I'm probably, I wouldn't say I'm the most good looking person in the world. I wouldn't say I'm pug ugly or fugly, but I think there's a lot of things about me that I didn't like growing up. I got a big nose. And people used to always clown me for the big nose. People make jokes about me with the big nose. They're saying I'm a certain type of religion or race that I'm not, and I don't really care. But like, people throw that at me an insult. I wanted a nose job when I was younger, but eventually I realized, I was like, look, I'm me. Me having a nose job is just letting them win. I got to just learn to love myself. Maybe I got a big nose, whatever. Some people like that, right? Some of these chicks be liking the big nose dudes. I don't know. It's a thing. But you got to learn to love yourself. There's all sorts of things that I wouldn't be so happy about. I'm not the tallest person in the world, but I really don't care. And I don't want to be walking around in no platform shoes, faking it, putting socks in my shoes like Clav. It's so much insecurity. You just got to learn to be secure and love yourself. You are what you are. You got what you got, right? Clavicular's got it right now. He's very handsome, all this stuff. But like, he's going to get old. The looks will go. You got to love yourself and just be locked in with life, all right? So that's my life maxing. Fuck all the looks maxing. Who cares? But anyway, okay, to make matters worse, Clavicular has actually been officially banned from YouTube. This is very sad news this morning. My YouTube channels at Live with Clav and Clav's Looks Max were terminated with no warning or explanation. The channels consisted of live stream VODs and free courses created by me to help empower young men to be the best versions of themselves. Me and my team worked hard to ensure we followed YouTube's terms of service very strictly, blowing out all inappropriate language and sensitive topics. Please, could you help me in recovering my accounts, Team YouTube? I don't think they cared. I don't think they replied, and people don't like Clav. Now, more recently, there have actually been more videos surfacing of women talking about using these kind of injections that were showcased on the stream. And this is basically, it says in a resurfaced TikTok influencer, Alexandra Mendoza, Laura Ziva, speaks about using fat-dissolving agents, peptides, and more to maintain her looks, seemingly contradicting her claims that Aqualix injections caused emotional distress. Like, of course I did that shit. Uh-oh.
I've done a lot of, like, fat dissolvers, peptides, contacts, dark hair, tan, like, of course I did that shit, and I don't give a fuck. Like, as long as I mog and I look good, I'm chilling, guys.
That's not helping the case. I'm sorry, that is actually not great news for the old case there, okay? That's a problemo, all right?
What else?
This is clips of her that are apparently resurfacing, speaking positively about her time with Clav. She went on to say he was incredibly respectful and acknowledged she was aware he was streaming and planned to inject her.
Not dating Clav. Just did a little stream together where he injected Aqualix. It was really fun. Super nice. Send me an Uber home right after.
Okay, that's not gonna be a great look. That's not gonna be super helpful, gang. But the thing is, even with all of that in the bag, it doesn't matter, right? He wasn't licensed to do that. And according to Atozy, this doesn't matter, all right? And he's been covering in depth how Clavicular might actually be losing his steak deal over some of this nonsense too.
Except for them. So obviously this was live on camera, and she's saying without her permission and without him holding any medical license to perform such a procedure. And apparently he was also implying that the Walter White special had also been added to the injection, which is crazy if that's true as well.
Dude, I can already see a clip. Clav injects
Chat, we're looks maxing her. We're looks maxing her. It's all good. Dr. Clav? Yeah.
But obviously, Clavicular is no doctor. He's not having her sign consent forms and liability waivers to let him do this. So clearly, that live stream clip does not help his case whatsoever here. And Alexandra said even though she continued seeing him because she still believed that he was working to help her career, that turned out to not be the case, as she claims that he eventually ran what she described as a campaign to damage her reputation, which she says cost her sponsorships. And the lawsuit lists battery, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and unauthorized use of her name and likeliness amongst its claims, and seeking damages of more than $50,000. His attorney, Steve Kramer, responded to the lawsuit by saying that they're aware of the complaint recently filed against Clav. However, he says that these are allegations only and remain unproven. Mr. Peters denies the claims and disputes the characterization of the events. He will respond through the appropriate legal channels and intends to vigorously defend himself, adding that they will not comment further at this time. And shortly after this lawsuit became public, Clavicular was also reportedly dropped by Stake, as he put out a statement on his Discord saying there is no Stake leaderboard anymore, we canceled it. And one could only assume that would be a major financial source of income for him. And even
so he might have lost millions over this stuff, man. And look, I don't think he should be doing that stuff. I think Clavicular, he is overstepping the mark a little bit. I think he is trampling over people's consent. That girl was a minor. Shouldn't have even been doing that. Unfortunately, Clavicular, like, it's not. This is all bad. This is all bad. And he's going to have to fight this, okay? And yes, her saying that she likes to inject whatever that stuff was called afterwards and she had a good time definitely doesn't help her case. But also, like, Clavicular, you want some statutory shit where, like, that might not help you under the code of the law. So I think Clavicular is in big trouble. Okay, I'm going to keep track of him. I do find him interesting. I do follow him with interest. You know, who could forget where they were when Clavicular was brutally frame-mogged by the ASU frat leader? You know, I remember exactly where I was when that happened, and I'm sure you do too. So when I get some updates, I will let you guys know. But Clavicular might be prison maxing very soon. Okay, see you in the next one.